Hey everyone, Stranger Things 5 is here, and after years of time to build up speculation and theories, Volume 1 still somehow managed to find ways to subvert all of our, or at least my, expectations. In the first 4 episodes, it's already being proven that this final season is going to be bigger than ever before, an Avengers Endgame level spectacle of sorts, if you will. It presents us with some of the best, and dare I say, some of the weaker moments the show has to offer. I thoroughly enjoyed this first volume, though it's not without its flaws. When a show like Stranger Things is already larger than life in terms of popularity and cultural impact, it's hard even for the best to be completely flawless in execution 100% of the time. With loose ends, unanswered questions, and the task of reaching a satisfying conclusion that ties a nice bow around the entire story, it's almost impossible to not miss a beat somewhere along the way. In all honesty, most of the complaints are derived from the first episode. It really struggles to get its footing. And while it's nice to see all of the characters all back together again inside of Hawkins after spending the majority of Season 4 split into groups across the country, it's hard not to feel like everyone is a bit awkward with each other. The Jonathan and Steve tower climbing sequence particularly stands out. The look felt odd, maybe the lighting or framing was off. It's also jarring to see how much the cast has aged. The 18-month time jump in universe translates to 3 years in reality, so there's bound to be a difference. But after 20 minutes or so, you just adjust. And by the end, it feels like Stranger Things again. The season as a whole so far overall has a major filmic quality to it. You can see why it took so long to deliver this final season of the show. We pick up on November 3rd, 1987, which is the biggest time jump in the show's history, and Hawkins is unrecognizable. The town operates under military lockdown. Spores from the Upside Down fill the air. The massive rifts are covered by what Robin calls a giant metal band-aid. It feels like a greater threat now. It feels like something bigger is at stake. Volume 1 works the best when it represents the best of classic Stranger Things. The adventure, the heart, the friendships we've loved for years. The entire town is under lockdown. Multiple storylines are happening simultaneously across different dimensions. Kids are being harvested for some grand plan, and somehow it still feels intimate and character-driven for the most part. I think it also does a great job at delivering redemption on a few characters that I've had issues with the past couple of seasons, mainly Will and Mike. Mike has finally grown into a leadership role. He's not the whiny kid anymore. He's actually forming a plan, sticking to it, stepping to the front line of battle. And obviously, Will is the highlight of the season thus far. So much of this story revolves around his character, his newfound abilities, what they all mean. Again, a character that in the past has been fairly whiny and either sidelined, or when he is on the screen, he's not adding much to the story. I have a lot of theories about what is going to happen in Volume 2 regarding Will's character. There's a lot of interesting stuff that they set up. Obviously, that final scene in Episode 4 where he harnesses Vecna's ability and single-handedly takes down all of the Demogorgons to save his friends. My big question is Will still going to be alive by the end of this? Because the way that they're setting it up is almost a Harry Potter situation where without Vecna, can you really have Will if their powers are connected? I'm also a big fan of what they did with Elle and Hopper's character this season as they're working hand in hand together on a mission. You see the love and compassion that they have for each other, and while that's been touched on in the past, it's explored on a more deeper level this season. I also think Holly Wheeler as a lead character was a welcome addition to this season. I love the subtle hints to Alice in Wonderland, A Wrinkle in Time. It seems to be building towards something with her and Henry Creel / Vecna that is very interesting. I'm excited to see how that pays off. And on top of that, you get the inclusion of Max in Vecna's memory. She's still in a coma, but she's clearly conscious in his mind. Everything with her character is both heartbreaking but hopeful. I think everything with Vecna / Mr. Whatsit / Henry Creel is extremely interesting. I'm glad that they chose to make him such a well-rounded character and not just a one-dimensional villain. I'm also impressed with the way that they're able to show darker elements and sides to these characters, particularly Dustin. It's clear that he's depressed and really held back and beside himself because of the events that played out in Season 4, trying to keep Eddie's legacy alive while being the new main target at school. And then the other big reveal, Callie, or Number 8, is back. The Lost Sister episode that everyone has taken issue with and is generally considered the worst episode of the show now suddenly has relevance yet again. Now, we don't know to what capacity, but the fact that they bring her back brings a lot more questions and some worries. The biggest concern with me thus far in this season is the amount of things that they are setting up and the little time they have to provide a resolution to all of it. I noticed with every episode there seemed to be a new problem at hand and a dedicated time of characters just sitting in a room together trying to devise a plan to overcome it. And there's a lot going on this season, and it seems like every episode is introducing a new subplot that we're supposed to pay attention to, and it just concerns me that the Duffer Brothers might be a little too heavy-handed here. I'm not saying they can't pull it off, and I'm very hopeful that they do, but it is a bit concerning that you introduce so many new ideas within the final season of your show. Is it all going to pay off in the end? Is it all worth it? It's hard to tell at this point. For all of the moments that makes this season feel more intimate and that it's returning to all of the core things that we love about the first 2 seasons of Stranger Things in particular, it's also become more grand and bolder in a way that's exciting as a fan, but also a bit concerning. So many big questions that have yet to be answered. What's at Hawkins' lab? Did the lab create the wall? Is it carved out of Dimension X? What's Vecna doing with the 12 children? Why 12 exactly? There are so many things set up in Volume 1 that I think will directly parallel to the final episodes of the series that could provide plenty of opportunity for them to make sense of all of these ideas and conclude everything nicely. I really have no expectations, no list of wants that have to happen in the final episodes to make everything worth it for me. I just hope they deliver on a satisfying story. But now we have about a month of more speculation and waiting around to see how this thing is going to wrap up, and I'm really excited for it. Even though there are things that concern me, I still can't help but be giddy as a fan of the show who has practically grown up with it. So with all that being said, guys, thank you as always for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know all of your thoughts and opinions on the first 4 episodes of Season 5, as well as all of your theories and predictions for the final episodes. But until next time, I'll see y'all later.